Okay, good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Good morning, online. Good morning. Okay, hope everyone are doing good. Let's jump on. What did we discuss in our last class? Auto scaling and then load balancer. Let's have a quick shootout. So, what is auto scaling? Scale out and then scale in EC2 instances based on the load. We call it as here auto scaling. And in auto scaling, mainly we have minimum, maximum, and desired capacity. What are those? Minimum, maximum, desired capacities. Minimum, maximum, we call it as what? Boundaries. And desired capacity meaning initially how many machines that you want to launch. That is your desire or initial capacity. In example, how much we took? Desired capacity? 4. And minimum? 2. Maximum? 6 or 8, whichever it is. And then we have majorly 3 types of scaling options. What are the 3 types of scaling options we have? Manual scaling, schedule scaling, and dynamic scaling. Manual scaling meaning manually you are editing the desired capacity. That is called manual scaling. And then schedule scaling meaning what? Based on time or particular day or time. That's called schedule. And dynamic meaning based on the load. Based on the load, automatically scale out scaling will happen. And then whenever the scale out is happening, auto scaling group will take the help of what? Launch template. Say that. Say that. Launch template. Yes or no? Remember, without launch templates, there is no auto scaling. Because how does the auto scaling group knows how to launch EC2 instance? Right? So we have launch template. So that launch templates contains all the steps to launch an EC2 instance. So all the steps meaning how many steps? 7 steps. So that require. And if you want to have application automatically inside it, inside the AMI, you need to put the application. And also this auto scaling will be integrated with the SNS or not for notifications. And load balancer. So this elastic load balancer which distribute the traffic to multiple EC2 instances across availability zones. And load balancer is completely managed by AWS. And load balancer is a service, not a server. You will not forget that line. Huh? I will also not forget. Okay. And load balancer has the IP address, but those IP addresses are dynamic. Those IP addresses are dynamic. Is it recommended to use IP address or DNS name? DNS name. And how many types of load balancers are there? 4 types. What are those? Classic load balancer, application load balancer, network load balancer, gateway load balancer. Okay. Which one is previous generation? Classic. And classic works on which protocol? HTTP and HTTPS and TCP. And which is the latest generation which is commonly used? Application load balancer. And application load balancer works on which protocol? HTTP and HTTPS. And if you want to use extreme high performance, which load balancer you choose? Network. And also if you want to use in the network level, then which load balancer again? Network load balancer. And network load balancer works on which protocol? TCP, UDP and TLS. Remember we learned about TCP in our starting days. Overview. What is the full form of TCP? Transmission Control Protocol. So basically TCP you have, and who is the brother of TCP? Who is the brother of TCP? UDP. Remember that, oh, I didn't told you about OSI layers, no? That's fine. Okay. So that was an interesting, it was not a topic that in the basics, So there was one topic called OSI. In your college days, you have learned, right? OSI layers, open system integration. How many layers are there? 7 layers. So in the basics, I used to mention that 7 layers, right? But that's okay. Okay, fine. So which one is reliable, Nana? TCP or UDP? TCP is reliable, remember. Okay, fine. And then which load balancer supports static IPs? Network load balancer. How many IPs? One per availability zone. One per availability zone. Okay. And the last one is gateway load balancer, which is used for your security appliances. And then which protocol it uses? Gateway. Port number 6081. And then what is the specialty of application load balancer? Routing features. What are those? Routing features. So using routing features, we can create a rules. We can create a rules and route based on the traffic to the target group. Say that. That word is very important. What is that? Target group. Because before we create a load balancer, first we need to create what, Nana? Target group. Without target group, load balancer will work? No, right? So you need to have a target group. Inside the target group is what you have? EC2 instances. That EC2 instance, nothing but here we call it as targets. What does the target group contains? Targets. What are targets? EC2 instances. And each target group contain their own application or not? And different target group, for one load balancer, can we have multiple target groups? Yes. And each target group contain their own different applications or same application? Different applications. Good. And load balancer is listening on which protocols? HTTP and HTTPS. Remember, load balancer listen only with HTTP and HTTPS. Because load balancer is a service, no? If it is server, then we need to put SSH, RDPs and all. As it is just a service and it receives the traffic, it takes only HTTP or HTTPS. Cool. So this is what we have learned in our last class. Let's move on to today's topic. And let's start with today's topic with types of IPs. What is that? Types of IPs. There are different types of IPs are there. You know IPs, right? So here, types of IPs. So majorly here in AWS, especially in EC2, we have 3 types of IPs. How many types of IPs? Stickiness. So Avanish Pandey is asking what is stickiness. Stickiness, you will not understand now. Stickiness, I'll show you in the practicals. But to make you understand in my style, what is the meaning of stickiness meaning? What is sticky? Yes, right? Stickiness meaning where it will stick to one place. Yes or no? I assume that you have server 1 and server 2 and you have load balancer. Load balancer is there and then how many servers are there? For example, 2 servers, server 1, server 2. And your request will be sent to the load balancer. Load balancer will distribute the traffic to server 1 and server 2. What you can do is stickiness meaning if you can tell to the load balancer, hey load balancer, stick only to server 1 for 5 minutes. So whichever the request that is coming to the load balancer will always send to server 1 for how many minutes? 5 minutes. That is called stickiness. Okay. Okay, Avanish. Okay. Fine. So this will be helpful for your session cookies and all. Yeah. Yeah. So types of IPs. See, I'll tell one IP, second IP you will tell automatically. Sure. Pakka. So better. I'll tell first IP. Definitely second IP you will automatically say. You don't have confidence? You have or you don't have? Say, I'll raise your confidence. See, there are 3 types of IPs. Number 1, public IP. Number 2, see, I told you. Right? Second one is what? Private IP. What is the first one? Public IP. Second one, private IP. I know third IP, don't say hybrid. Okay. That is not hybrid IP. We call it as elastic IP. Say that one more time. So there are three types of IPs in EC2. What are those? Public IP, private IP, elastic IP. One more time. Public IP, private IP, elastic IP. Elastic IP, we can also say EIP. What is it? For public IP, don't say PIP. Private IP also don't say PIP. Only EIP will say, right? For public, private will say public IP, private IP. Okay, let me tell you one realistic, real-time example. Assume this is AWS, okay? What is the outer layer? AWS. Inside it, region. Inside, VPC, right? Inside the VPC, we have availability zone. Inside the availability zone, what we have? EC2 instances. So, yeah. Yeah. So here, assume that you have launched one EC2 instance. Where are you sitting? You are sitting inside the AWS or you are sitting inside the internet? Internet. How do you sit in AWS? Right? So here we have laptop. This is your laptop. Listen carefully. This is your laptop and this is EC2 instance. This is laptop. Okay. From your laptop, how are you connecting to the AWS? Tell me how? From internet, how are you connecting to your... Oh, I answered it. Okay, you didn't know that. Okay, now tell me, how are you connecting from laptop to AWS? I want to bully you. See here, when do you use VPN, Chite? If you are in office or company. Now you are in company. No, right? So you are at home or you are here, right? So generally, how do you connect to AWS? Using internet, right? Internet. What you have here? Internet. Okay. So now your laptop is also in internet or not? Your laptop is in internet and see here, from your laptop, you are connecting to the EC2 instance. Yes or no? Remember now, whenever you launch an EC2 instance, by default, one IP will be assigned. Defaultly, one IP will be assigned. And that is called private IP. Which IP? Which is IP address that is assigned default? Again, by default, what is the IP address that will be assigned to the EC2 instance? Private IP. So whenever you launch the EC2 instance, automatically you will get the private IP. Okay. And that private IP is mandatory. Is what? Mandatory. Definitely for every machine, every EC2 instance, definitely private IP will be there. That will be mandatory. And that private IP start with 172.31 series. Which series? 172.31 series. Sir, why only 172.31 series? I want you to remember this series. What is that series? 172.31. No. Remember we were learning about subnets, VPC and subnets, NACLs. I told you VPC, you have a network range that will be given by your network administrator. Inside that you create a isolated networks, right? For that isolated networks also you need to give the range. Your entire VPC is created with the IP range called 172.31. Remember, every region contains a default VPC or not? Every region contains a default VPC. Say that every region contains a default VPC. We have learned this already. That VPC, you have a range. For every VPC, there will be a range. It can be any range. But in our Mumbai region, AWS is giving a default VPC with the range 172.31. If the range is, VPC range is 172.31, your subnet range also will come with 172.31 or not? And each subnet is associated to one availability zone or not? So whenever you launch an EC2 instance inside the availability zone, your EC2 instance will also get the IP address with this what range? 172.31 range. That is AWS provided range. But we will be creating our own VPCs. We'll be creating our own subnets. We'll be creating our own stuff. At that time, I'll give my own range. like 192, 168 ranges. But what is this range? This is the default range which is provided by AWS. What's the default range? 172.31 series. What series? 172.31 series. Okay, fine. So IP address will start with what, Nana? 172.31 series. Whenever it is starting with 172.31 series, that is public IP or private IP? Fantastic. Private IP. Which IP? Private. Okay, good. Now, can you tell me one random IP with this series? Let's say 172.31.21.20. Let's say this is the range. Now, this is the IP address of the EC2 instance. Now, question for you. You are sitting, this is your laptop. Your laptop is in internet or not? Can you connect to the EC2 instance directly to here using private IP? Answer is yes or no. Bolo, yes or no? Louder. No. Obviously, no. Can someone directly come to your bedroom from outside? Bedroom is your private or public? 100% not possible. Similarly, here also, from your laptop which is in internet, can you directly connect to the EC2 instance with the private IPs? Definitely no. Now tell me, what type of IP address that I need to assign for the EC2 instance in order to connect from internet? Exactly. Which IP nana here? Public IP. So now tell me, public IP is mandatory or optional? Optional. Generally do not expose EC2 instances to public. Do not expose. Until unless it is necessary, 99% do not expose EC2 instances to internet. Right? So if it is necessary, now Tarun, right? So Tarun has asked, sir, I want to log into your EC2 instance, sir. Then I need to assign what IP address? Public IP. What IP address? Public IP address. So I have given, now Tarun is here. This is Tarun's laptop. This is Tarun's laptop. And Tarun is connecting to the EC2 instance without what IP? Public IP. This public IP is provided by whom, Nana? Automatically AWS will provide that public IP. Okay? Now, so I'm giving one scenario, real-time scenario. So I have given this public IP, username and password. What is the username? Default username for Windows. Windows. Administrator. Linux. EC2 minus user. How do you get the password? PEM file. Using what? PEM file. Yes or no? Did we learn PEM file, right? Okay. So fine. So username, password I have given here to Tarun, and then IP address also I have given. So what he did is, Tarun is logging to the EC2 instance, and every day is working. Now, due to some issue or maintenance, I have to stop and start the EC2 instance. What I need to do? Stop and start. If I stop and start the EC2 instance, IP changed. IP changed. Then what I need to do? Tarun can connect to the EC2 instance? No. If the IP address changed, Tarun can connect? No, right? Because it changed. Again, Tarun will come to you and ask, sir, what happened? I'm not able to connect to the machine. Then I see, oh, IP address got changed. Then I'll need to give the new IP address. Again, I stopped and start after 2 days. Again, IP will change or not? So IP is static or dynamic? So public IPs are dynamic. If you stop and start the EC2 instance, IP address change. So that property is for which IP address? Public. Now Tarun will get frustrated or not? For every time I need to provide the new IP address, he'll get frustrated. He'll say that, hey, Brias, do not change the IP address. Keep it, maintain the same IP address. That meaning static IP address. If you want to have the static IP address, then which IP address that you should go for? Elastic IP. Which one? Elastic IP, EIP. Elastic IP meaning here EIP. So Elastic IP is static or dynamic? So how many times you stop and start also, IP address will not change. Sorry. And private IP also remains same. Private IP also remains same. It will not change. Which one will be changed? Only public IP will be changed. Clear? So for every EC2 instance, we'll have the private, which IP address will be there for every EC2 instance by default? Private IP. If required, we can assign public IP. If required, we can assign elastic IP. Is it possible to have both public IP and elastic IP? No, either one, right? So either public IP or elastic IP. But is it possible to have private IP plus public IP? Yes. Private IP plus elastic IP? Yes. Only private IP? Yes. Private IP plus elastic IP plus public IP? Possible. You understand now? Super. Okay. Now, one more question I'm asking. See, I have launched one more EC2 instance here in AWS. And what is the IP address that you get automatically? What IP? Public or private? Right? Private IP. Tell me one more. 172.31.21.21. Okay. Oh, 21.21. Okay, fine. Now tell me, I want to connect these two machines now. Which IP address will you choose? Two EC2 instances will talk with each other using what IP? Private IP. Which IP? Confidently say, which IP? Yes or no? From one bedroom to another bedroom, who will go? Only your family members. Yes or no? Right? So remember, within the VPC, if two EC2 instances want to talk to each other, they will talk to each other using what IP? Private IP. And you have here your company. From company to AWS, how are you connecting? Now tell me, what is that? Here, VPN. Okay. So from you are sitting here inside the company. And if you want to connect to the EC2 instance, will you connect with the public IP or will you connect with the private IP? Private IP. Because we have what here? VPN. VPN meaning virtual private network. It is private to private connection. You can directly connect to the private IP. Whenever you want to connect from internet, then only you choose public IP or elastic IP. Got the point? Clear? There is some question went up. Sir, what is the start range of public IP and elastic IP? Now question for you. This public IP and elastic IP will be assigned by whom? Why do we need them? Huh? If it is assigned by AWS, do I need to worry about it? He will start with 3, he will start with 24, he will start with 54, he will start with any. And remember, only 172 series, say 172 series, 10 series, 198 series. These three are used for private purpose. Say that again. 172, 10 series, 192 series. 172, 192, 10 series. These three will be assigned as a private. Rest are all public. Keep that in mind. Okay. Chitty online is clear Nana, on this? Okay. Coming to the elastic IP. Nana, we can use the public IP also. We can use elastic IP also. Only difference is public IP is dynamic and elastic IP is static. See, elastic IPs are static. Generally, no one will give static IPs for you because it is very expensive. It's a costly and expensive and very rare also, right? It's scarcity. That meaning you don't get that easily static IPs because one IP should be reserved for you if it is static, right? So generally, let's say in your home also you have internet connection, right? For your ISP provider, internet service provider, will assign the IP address to your laptop. That IP address is dynamic or static? Dynamic. That is what here? Dynamic. It will look like static, but it will not static. It is dynamic only. Because every one and then it will change. But if you just in case, let's go try to go and call customer care and say, hey, I want the static IPs, they will charge you extra. but our beloved AWS is giving 5 EIPs for free. How many EIPs are free? Certification question. How many Elastic IPs are free? 5. But there is one small twist. Actually, AWS should not give it for free, but for his customers, he's giving it for free. But the twist here is you should use it. If you are not using it, AWS will charge. Example, I have how many chocolates with me? 5 chocolates. Okay, I am giving to this girl. I'm giving 5 chocolates to this girl. And I said, take it free. When? If she eat 5 chocolates, then it is free. If he is keeping her with her and then saying, sir, no, sir, I'll give one to my one friend, one to my one sister, one to one, then give me 5, each cost 100 rupees, give me 500 rupees. Yes or no? Similar concept here also in AWS. AWS is saying, I'll give you 5 Elastic IPs free for you. When? If you are using to your EC2 instance. If you are attaching to your EC2 instance, if you are using it, no problem, I don't charge. But if you are keeping it ideal, I will charge for you, even though it is below 5. Understood? So that is the concept of your Elastic IP. So unnecessarily do not create the Elastic IPs. If you create also, use it. Use meaning here, you need to attach to whom? EC2 instance. Got it? Online, is this clear on the different types of IPs? Okay. Now, what is metadata? Since our childhood, we are learning that, right? Data about data, right? So wherever you go, your lecturer also will say the same question. Data about data. Metadata meaning data about data. But here we have instance metadata. Say that. Instance metadata, data about instance is called what? Instance metadata. So that meaning who has launched, when has launched, what is the information it has, which key pair it is attached, which security group it attached, which volumes it has, which AMI it has. All this information about the instance is called instance metadata. No. All this instance metadata information, you will get it from the console only. You have logged into console, you have done practicals of IAM. If you click on users, you get users information or not. That is metadata about it, right? Here also, if you go to EC2 console, if you launch EC2 instance, if you select it, there is a button. There is a button called details. What section is that? Detail. If you click on detail section, entire information about the EC2 instance, you will see it. From console. Where? From console. Which section is that? Details section. Which section is that? Sir, I'm not in my console, but I'm in my CLI. How many ways are there to access AWS? 2 ways. What are those? Console access and programmatic access. That meaning CLI. I told you console access meaning which section that you should go for? Detail section. But sir, through CLI, I'm on my command prompt, but I want to know about the system information or instance information. So can you open the browser in the CLI? No, right? So we need to use commands or not. So there is one URL that will help you to get the information. So http:// say that 169.254 169.254 / latest / meta minus data. This is a URL that you should use. Difficult to remember, right? Let me inject in your brain. See me. See here. Look into my eyes. Offline, look, listen my voice. Okay, see. HTTP, you know that http:// forget about it. Like next one. 169.254 169.254 / latest / meta minus data. One more time. 169.254, 169.254 slash latest slash meta minus data. One more time. 169.254, 169.254 slash latest slash meta minus data. You repeat. 169.254, 169.254 slash latest slash meta minus data. Remember. Injected. So for that, you should use a small Linux command called curl. What's that? Curl is a command to see the content or to get the information from the pages. Okay. All right. So this is a certification question. Please keep that in mind. Next one here is user data. Say that. Whose data? User's data. Who is user here? You or we. We all users. So whatever you are providing the data to the EC2 instance, we call it as what? User data. But it is not that easy that what I said now. Providing data from user is called user. No, that is not the correct one. See here. How many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? 7 steps. In that 7 steps, there is a box with a section called user data. User data and one big text box will be there. And what you need to put it is there, you need to put the script. What you need to put? The script. Example. Script meaning here, let's say. Nana, you want to install Tomcat, for example, some application. What is that? Say that. Tomcat. You want to install Tomcat. I have told you, given you a task, please install Tomcat on the EC2 instance. How do you do it? Generally, tell from step number 1. Don't worry about how to install. Tell the steps. How do you do that? First, what you do? Launch EC2 instance. Next, what you do? Log into the EC2 instance. Yes or no? Without logging, can you install? Log into the EC2 instance. Then download Tomcat and then install Tomcat and then start the Tomcat. Yes or no? So you need to do all these things manually or not? But if you know scripting, what you need to do is whatever that you want to do everything inside the machine, you can write in the form of script. And where do you put? Inside this user data. So user data, we call it as bootstrap script. Say that. Bootstrap script. Bootstrap script meaning, whatever the script that you have provided, that will be run at the boot time only. That meaning, let's say now you are launching the EC2 instance. 7 steps are there. Last step is user data only. And what you did, you put the script there. What is that script? You wrote the script to install what? Tomcat. To install Tomcat. You copy paste that entire script inside the user data. Launched. Click on launch button. What will happen now? EC2 instance will be launched or not? When it is getting launched, in that process only the script will execute. You no need to log in and then install it anymore. By the time the machine is up, Tomcat is also up. Power of automation. Don't worry, I'll teach you here how to put the user data also. Right? And we are using, mostly, are we using Windows or Linux here? In our most of the time, very rare I'll be using Windows because everyone knows Windows. Most of the time I'll go with the Linux only. If you are using Linux machine, we will be here using shell script. What script? Shell script. So using shell script, we will be automating all these installations. Okay, now? So understood what is user data? Like in Docker file, we'll write the things we need to install in any case. Kind of Pranjal. Yeah. But don't compare this Docker, don't compare this bootstrap script using Docker file. But so what does the Docker file contain? Instructions, how your image should look like. But here it is shell script. Whatever that you want to do it manually later, write it in the script and put it. Let's say, for example, you want to install Tomcat in 10 machines, Nana. What will you do? Will you install 10 times Tomcat? Launch EC2 instance, set up EC2. You put the user data in the EC2 instance. It will ask how many machines that you want to launch. You put 10. launch. 10 machines will launch automatically with the Tomcat. That is one option. And another option is launch one EC2 instance, install Tomcat, create an AMI out of it. From that AMI launch 10 machines. All 10 machines will have all Tomcat. Your multiple options are there. Okay. So understood on a bootstrap script. What is that? Bootstrap script. So bootstrap script. So on Linux, which is the script that we use? Shell script. Which one? Shell script. For Windows, we use PowerShell. What is that? Online. What is that, Nanya? PowerShell. Okay. So this is what we have learned till now. Okay. See, how many types of IPs are there? 3 types. What are those? Public IP, private IP, elastic IP. So public IP meaning which can be accessed from internet. Public IP is optional. Public IP is dynamic. If you stop and start, what will happen? Public IP address changes. Who will assign public IP? AWS. By default, public IP is enabled. How come public IP will be enabled? What is the IP address by default that you get? Private IP. Can you access from internet? No. Private IP is mandatory or optional? Mandatory. Private IPs are static or dynamic? Static. So how do you access? When do you access private IP? When do you use private IP? Within the VPC and through VPN. Within the VPC. If two EC2 instances want to talk to each other, how do you do that? Using private IP or through VPN. And elastic, it is same as public IP, but elastic IPs are static. If you stop and start, IP address will change? No. How many IPs are free? 5. But it has to associate it to the EC2. If you're keeping it freely, I mean, if you're keeping it ideally without not using it, AWS will charge for that. We learned about metadata and we have learned about the user data. Clear? Okay. So, how many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? Sir, how many times will you ask this question, sir? So, I remember since our day one, I said, how many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? I told you only one time, 7 steps. Till now, you remember it. But you guys are such a innocent people. And you have such a trust on me and you believe me that whenever I ask how many steps are there, you say 7. But no one asked till now, what are those 7 steps, sir? Yes or no? Huh? Why didn't you ask? Because you trusted me that definitely when sir time comes, sir will explain all these things. Very good. That I like that. So, but if you have asked at that time also, definitely I would have not explained you also. Right? Because the time, I told you, when I say take it to your heart, take it. When I say ignore, ignore it. Because it is good for your health. I'm telling you. Okay, now time has come to see what are those 7 steps. Okay. Okay. The 7 steps are, the topic is the 7 steps. 7 adugulu. Okay. If you observe carefully, those 7 steps you know already now. You know already. Yes. Okay. Again, I'm asking, how many steps are there to launch EC2 instance? And now you guys are smart. You will ask, sir, what are those now? Huh? Okay. So the first step is Nana here. Whenever you launch the EC2 instance, you need to give the name of the EC2 instance or not. So that's nothing but here. Did we learn about tags? So we need to give the name. Name is equal to what machine? Let's say Linux server or any DB server, Tomcat server, Jenkins server. You can give any name. What's the first thing here? Name. So that is nothing but here tag. Okay. Next one here is, here we need to select AMI. When you want to launch an EC2, you need to select operating system or not? Did we learn about AMIs? The whole day, the entire class, we learned about AMI. What is AMI? Amazon Machine Image. So what is an AMI? Instead of saying full form. Copy of the OS. Copy of the OS is called what? AMI. So I told you that AWS is having a lot of AMIs available or not. So which is the AMI that we'll be using? Red Hat. Which one? Red Hat. For Windows also we'll use. So Linux we use which one here? Red Hat. So you need to select that AMI or not here. So you need to select here operating system. Okay. Next. You need to select what? Instance type. Which is the instance type that you should be using it? T2 micro or T3 micro or T4 micro. Micro is important. Okay. And then, so guys, I'm not, I'm trying to put same as it is order, but order is not important. That I'm just thinking and putting the order here. So next here is instance configurations. What's that? Instance configuration. That meaning how many EC2 instances that you want to launch, right? You know, what you want to put the user data, you want the public IP or not. All this information will come under what? Instance configuration. Next important thing here is select storage. Storage meaning here what? Volumes. Remember we learned about volumes a lot. What is the default volume that you get? Root volume. What does the root volume contains? OS. Remember? Remember? And what's the default size for Windows? 30 GB. Linux? 8 or 10 GB. Remember we learned this. And what is the maximum size of volume? 16 terabyte. Volume size can be increased, can be decreased? No. Oh, nice. And we have different types of volumes. Sing that song. First hum. And then sing. Sing. She's humming now. Oh, yeah. Easy 2, easy 3. Very common. If you know if you don't know the song, you will always go with the wrong lyrics. Sing. Yeah. Where is the swaram? Where is that? Ragam, where is that? Sing. Pallavi. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1, standard. Remember? Okay, fine. So online people already put it. Okay, fine. So all these things we need to select in which section? Storage section. And then here we need to select what? Security group. What is that? Which is the security group that we should be using it? Default security group. In security groups, again, we have inbound rule, outbound rule. Do we need to worry about outbound rule? No. So whichever the rule that you want to allow it in the inbound rule. And then key pair. Which one? Remember key pair? What is key pair? Combination of public key and private key. Nothing but PEM file, password. So we need to, by default, do you have any PEM files? No, we need to create and attach it to the EC2 instance. Yes or no? And then finally, what you need to do? Launch. How many steps are there now? So, okay. Launch, don't take it to consideration. 7 are there or not? Yes or no? If you observe carefully, since how long we are learning EC2? How many days? 1 week, right? So these 1 week, each day I was talking about one step. Each day I was talking about each step. One day we learned about instance types. Another day we learned about AMIs. Another day we are learning about storages, security groups, PEM files. Apart from that, extra things also we have learned a lot, right? So all these things combines this 7 step. And if you Pusuk asked me, sir, what are the 7 steps on first day, can I tell? For that reason, I made you to hold this 7 step. Now time has come. Because, so once we have completed this 7 step, that meaning we have completed EC2. So congratulations, we have successfully completed EC2 theory. Okay, so these are the 7 steps and I wrote nicely over here. Okay, so do you see this, Nina? First step is what? Name and tag. Second step is choose AMI. That can be Windows also, that can be Linux also. If it is Linux, which one we choose? Red Hat, or it can be Ubuntu, or it can be, yeah. And then next one is choose instance type. You know, instance type is a combination of CPU and memory. So this is which one we are using here? T2 micro. If you select other than T2 micro, it will be charge and billable. And next one is here keeper. Keeper is for what purpose? Login purpose. Next we need to select which one? Default secret group. Next storage. And next choose VPC. So which VPC we should use? Default VPC. And subnets, how many subnets are there? How many subnets are there in Mumbai region? 3. Very good. Why 3? Because availability zones also 3 and subnets are also 3. But is mandatory only 3 subnets? No, you can get multiple subnets. But AWS is giving how many as default? 3. And then launch the machine. Clear? Online no? Online no? Clear till here? Super. But every time I would like to give you little bit more extra topics. Once you ate Pani Puri, what is the last thing that you ask for? Something free, no? Something free that you want to ask, right? Okay, fine. Here also I want to give you one small advanced topic, which is not necessary, but it's good to have to know, right? And this one is, I told you already. Do you remember my ship problem? That was resolved by which concept? GA. What's that? GA. What is GA? Global Accelerator. What's that? No? Global Accelerator. Simple. We have 2 types of IPs. Don't think about public IP, private IP. But in general, I'm saying unicast, anycast. Say that. Don't say that. What is that? My cast. So unicast, anycast. Unicast meaning here. Abba. Zakir is saying, sir, you told user data comes under 7 step. Where is it? All these configurations, I told you, all the configurations will come here. Guys, do you worry about which will come under which place? Don't worry about that at all. Okay, Zakir. Okay. So user data, we have covered it, but that will come under this one of the 7 steps. So these are all very straightforward. See, name, AMI, instance, keeper, security group, storage, very straightforward. So here, while selecting the VPC, and then you have instance configuration where it have so many informations, right? It contains there. Okay, Zakir, don't worry there. Okay, so I was talking something. Unicast and then anycast. So unicast meaning every server will have the individual IP address, unique. Unicast meaning unique IP address. Now every machine, every server will have the same IP or different IP? Different IP. Anycast meaning all servers has the same IP. All servers has what? Same IP. That is not possible generally. But here in this unicast, not cast. Okay. So here unicast, which another one is anycast. Unicast and anycast. So unicast meaning every server will have the in the different IP, that means unique IP, whereas anycast meaning all servers will have the same IP. The concept is like this. See, I have set up my application in Mumbai region. Which region? Listen carefully. I have set up the application in Mumbai region. My customer is in US. And from US, he is trying to access my application. High latency or low latency. Higher, lower? Where is my application? Mumbai. User, US. All the way from US, he's trying to access Mumbai. Higher, lower? Changed, huh? So here, which one is good? Remember, we learned good or bad. Which one is bad? High latency. Low latency is good. So as there is a huge far distance between US and Mumbai, that's the reason why you have high latency. How to resolve this? Super. Which one? CloudFront. Remember CloudFront topic? So we using CloudFront, we will resolve this topic. Fine. So, but there is one customer is asking, hey Babu, I want the IP address of your website. Then what is the line that you should say to him? Load balancer is a service, not a server. But this guy is very intelligent. He is telling that he only replied to you, don't say me that load balancer is a service, not a server. In that case, I told you that AWS has implemented a feature called GA. What's that? Global Accelerator. What's the meaning of accelerate? Speed, raise, speed. So your website will be speed globally. So that meaning, listen carefully. You're all, so many offline students are there. Assume that you guys' names are all Riyaz only. Assume everyone are Riyaz here. Now I'll be on the left corner at the room. I'll say, Riyaz, come here. Who will come? Who will come first? Who will react first? If I'm here, who will come? This girl will come or not? Yes or no? If I'm here, I'll say, Riyaz, come. Who will come first? This girl. Now I'll go last to the corner and say, Riyaz, come. Then who will come? I'll go back. See, there, back. There. And I'll go there and I'll call, Riyaz, come here. Vishal will come or not? What Vishal? Vishal only, right? So wherever because all the machines, assume that you're all the persons, you are machines now. All machines have the same IP or not now? And wherever I go and call me, anyone will respond. Nearest one will be responding or not? Similarly, here also, AWS has put the global accelerators in some places nearest to you. And wherever the customer is trying to access, that request will go to the nearest global accelerator. And global accelerator, AWS is giving 2 static IPs. How many IPs? 2 static IPs. One customer is there. He's asking, please give me the IP address of your website. Now tell me, which IP address will give? Global accelerator IP address will give. Which one? How many IP address global accelerator is providing? 2. Static or dynamic? Static. Unicast or anycast? Anycast. Now you will find. Unicast or anycast? Remember, global accelerator do not compare with the CloudFront. CloudFront will cache. It doesn't give any IPs. But global accelerator is an additional component in front of CloudFront. Naveen. And global accelerator will not cache, but it will give the IPs. Global accelerator interns will talk to the CloudFront. Understood? So now we can proudly give those 2 static IPs to the customer and ask him to put it in his firewall. He'll ask, no, I want the IP address to put it in the firewall. Which IP address you will give here? Global accelerator. So global accelerator will connect to the CloudFront and CloudFront is connected to your load balancer. See here. I know you need diagrams. Unicast and then Anycast. So this is my Mumbai region. My load balancer is there. Now, which is the first service will hit first? Route 53. Which one? Route 53. Very good. Right? So, okay, fine. So if the person is in US, what he has a high latency or low latency? So what is it? Dig, bumping. Do you think I was playing? No, these are called hops. What's that? hops. What is hop meaning? Hop. One place to another place. Jumping from one place to another place is called what? Hop. It's not hip hop. Hip hop is different. Right? Okay. So hop meaning jumping. Now, your request from your laptop. Let's say, assume that you are in your sitting in your house, and from your laptop you are trying to access something. Will it directly go to the Google server? First, it will go to your Ethernet. From Ethernet, it will go to your Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi to router. Router to some ISP provider. From there to another server. What are these called? Hops. What is called here? Hop. Now tell me, how many hops? Many hops, you will get good performance. Less hops, you will get good performance. Less hops, good performance. More hops, bad performance. That's the reason why here, from US to Mumbai, you have less hops, many hops. That's the reason why you will get a high latency. Logic. Right? So for that reason, what we are using Nana here? Cloud front. That meaning our edge locations. That is one way. And but in this concept, if customer has asked, hey Babu, I need the IP address. Can you give the CloudFront IP address? Can you give the load balancer IP address directly? Our load balancer is connected to the IP address. Our CloudFront is connected to our load balancer or not? Similarly, if the customer asks, I need the IP address, then what you need to create? Global accelerator. And global accelerator intent is connected to whom? Your load balancer in the backend. Yes or no? Generally, if you want to, if he's asking for the IP address, you need to give the load balancer IP address, right? But instead of giving load balancer IP address, you are creating what here? Global accelerator. And global accelerator is connected to whom? Load balancer in the backend. So whenever you access this IP address, your website will work. That 2 IP address, you need to give it to the customer to put it in his firewall. And global accelerator is connected to the edge location, and through edge location, it is connected to your load balancer. So, and this is complete load balance. See, this global accelerator is managed by AWS, and also this is not free. AWS charging $18 per month. How much? 18. We will not be using it, but it's very simple. Click one checkbox, give the name, that it will get created automatically. But you understand global accelerator? It will speed up. Remember, see, I wrote it here. Leverage, and this global accelerator will use the AWS internal network or not? Obviously, it will use the AWS internal network. And how many static IPs it will give? 2. Those are unicast or anycast. So these anycast IPs send traffic directly to nearest edge location. And edge location will send the traffic to load balancer. This is the route. So Naveen, GA is not a separate service. It's a feature in EC2. It's just a feature in EC2. And if you remember, I told you, see, what are the 2 entry points of AWS? Who is that? Very good. CloudFront and then ELB. Yes or no? There are 2 entry points. Whenever you hit your boom.com, directly will go to the load balancer without cache. If with cache, it will go to CloudFront. There are 2 entry points, right? So now, hold on, I was diverted with that question. Okay. So when I see the question first time, what is this? Okay. So I was talking about, entry points, right? I was talking about entry points. There are 2 entry points. One is load balancer, another one is CloudFront. So whenever you hit boom.com, directly is going to the load balancer. That is without cache. With cache, it is going to CloudFront. So now here, whenever using load balancer, remember there is a service which will hold all the cyber attacks. Which service is that? Shield is for DDoS. Another one. WAF. What is that? Full form of WAF. Web application firewall. So our load balancer has WAF. If required, enable. One checkbox. Enable, WAF will be attached. If it is load balancer, if it is CloudFront, in CloudFront also, WAF will be there. If you want, attach it. Similarly, here global accelerator will be connected to the load balancer or not. Again, when you're creating a load balancer, it will ask, do you want WAF? Do you want GA? If you want yes, if you want no, uncheck it. If you want yes, check it. That's it. So these two entry points as WAF, remember. Additional integrated features. Okay. Is it clear on the global accelerator? We'll not be using it, but you understood the concept of global accelerator. So global accelerator uses unicasta, anycasta. Anycast. How many IPs it will give? 2 IPs. Now let me take this question. Okay, so domain name / microservice 1, Swagger index, microservice 2, Swagger. Okay, 3 domains are there. 3 microservices with the same domain. And we have API gateway. Okay, now request will load by API gateway or load balancer. Load path. No, if you are using API, first it will go to the API. First it will go to the API gateway and then it will go to the backend. API gateway is the entry point. Ranjal. Okay. If you are using API gateway, it will go to the API gateway. If you are not using any APIs and you are just routing the path, then it will go to the load balancer based on how your architecture is designed. Okay. Okay. Fine, Anna. Is this clear? So we have successfully completed EC2 service, and from Monday onwards, we will be doing the practicals. How to launch EC2 instances, how to log in, how to set up applications, how to take the backups. Backups meaning here? Snapshots, and also we call it as AMIs. Snapshot is for volumes. AMI is for EC2 instances. How to take it automatically, and how to create load balancers, how to distribute the traffics, everything for next few days we'll be working on EC2 practicals. Okay. What is it? 30 successfully completed? 30 days, huh? Oh, how many days? 30 days completed, huh? Till now? We still have how many days? We have with total how many days I told? 100 days. That meaning 4 months, obviously, right? Yeah. So 1 month done. Don't worry. As I said, the first month I have been covering basics, overviews, right? And then slowly I took the services, right? And then all these things from now onwards. I mean, after completing EC2, it is like fixing the booster engines to the course, right? So next services will be 1 day theory, next day practical, or same day theory, same day practical. So EC2 is the biggest service. That's why I took this much time. And EC2, without knowing in and out about the EC2, you cannot be called as a AWS engineers. That's why I took very, 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 very deep on the EC2. Of course, every service I'll go deeper, but it has more topics. Next, Abhi. Sir, are we doing the practicals parallel in the session, or we observe and do practicals after session? Abhi, did you complete IAM practicals? Abhi, did you complete IAM practicals? Remember in IAM how we did? I will not be allowing you to do it parallelly at all. Because if you do it parallelly, you'll be concentrating on what to click, where to click. You don't know how to click. So for that reason, first observe what I'll be doing it, and I'll be posting you the task. You repeat the task. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Any other questions? Sir, shell script or Python script necessary to learn for DevOps engineer? Shell script is not a rocket science. It's very easy to understand. Python, as I told you, you will be DevOps, AWS DevOps engineer. I'll be teaching you AWS here. I'll be teaching you DevOps. I'll be teaching AWS DevOps. Everything I'll be teaching you. But if you have one scripting knowledge in your hands, not now, in your career, One scripting language for automation, it will be super good for you. For your career, I'm saying. This DevOps engineering doesn't need any Python. Python is for what purpose? Two purpose. One is to develop the application and to automate it. So we have there is one service for automation. Which service? Lambda. In Lambda, we'll be using which one? Python. For Lambda is for what purpose? Automation purpose. For any kind of automation things, it is better to learn Python. I told you Python is the girlfriend of AWS. AWS will gel very nicely with Python, right? And that too, Python, full stack Python is not required for you. Don't go for full stack. You are not a developer to go for full stack Python. So core Python, basics Python is enough. You should be able to understand and modify the Python script. That's it. Okay. Question no? Python is asked for cloud and yes. I mean, that's why I said. Because as a DevOps engineer, you need to automate few things, right? For that reason, Python is required. But here in our course is not required, but for your career, it is required. Any other questions? How many days left for first part of course? Planning for certification at the earliest. No. So I say you need to wait for one more month. I told you first 2 months is AWS. Next 2 months will be. So first 1 month we have completed with all the basics and bigger EC2. Next 1 month, fatafat, it will be like every day we'll be covering 111 service. By covering like this, how many services I told you till now? Till now, how many services we have learned? 40, 46 plus, right? And apart from this, we still have services coming in, right? So all these things we'll be doing one by one, right? So for that, Abhi, please wait for 1 more month. And then you can go with the certification. 100% you can clear it. Any other questions? Please upload all the pens. Yes, I'll do. And while coming on Monday, I want you to revise EC2 topics before coming to the Monday's practicals. Because we will be doing practicals, right? If you are not, you are good, I know. You are good in whatever we have learned. But it is always good to revise and come because whatever we have learned in the theory, that will be implemented as a practical. So when I'm teaching you practical, suddenly please don't ask, sir, what is AMI? Then very hard, right? Sir, should we have labs along with you or after session? That's what I was talking till now, Naveen. Don't do labs while I'm doing it. Observe and then parallel, you observe and then later you do it. Does this batch has any WhatsApp group? No WhatsApp groups. You have Telegram group, right? Is there? No. So guys, all you guys are in Telegram? Those who are not in Telegram, the Telegram link is there in Google Classroom. Okay. So guys, please join. I'll be putting it in the book. Again, I'll put that link in the Google Classroom. Please go ahead and join in Telegram. Okay. Telegram is the official communication. Sir, when Linux batch will start? Geeta. I don't know. Please check with admin. I think recently they are starting Linux batch, right? Anyone idea? If not, next week 6 p.m. Naveen is saying, Otherwise, after AWS, I'll also be teaching Linux here. Your wish. If you want to go with the Linux separate, Naveen is going free. It's free class for you, right? So you can go and then enjoy that class there. So if you like there, continue. Otherwise, if you want to wait for me, wait here. Okay. This Linux, I'll be covering much deeper on the Linux also. But if you want more deeper separate course, Linux course, which is free for you, it will start soon by the other trainer, not me. But here in this course, as DevOps needed Linux knowledge, for that reason, few days I'll be teaching Linux here. Good. So which certification demanding company was practitioner? Roshan, practitioner is Jujube. We will not be focusing on practitioner at all. We will be focusing which one? Solution architect associate level. Okay, Roshan. So after 1 month, you will be eligible, not eligible. You will be super good to clear that certification easily. Easily. Okay, good. All right. So any other questions? I'll wait for a minute. Okay. So can you give the final CC for today, please? Okay. So Monday, please revise the topics and come. Not all that, at least from the EC2. Right? What are the pricing models? Remember pricing models? So from pricing models, and then we learned about instance types, and we learned about volume types, snapshots, AMIs, security groups, inbound rules, outbound rules, all these things. Please revise it. So screenshot, I'll upload in the Google Classroom right away now. Okay? Don't worry, online. Okay? So that's all. Let's connect on Monday with the next practicals. Until then, take care. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. And see you on Monday. Bye-bye.